What's up? Rose Stein here. I'm so happy that you are here. So let me know that you are watching because today we're going to be talking about a very important topic for, well, honestly, every single human being on the face of this earth. Women tend to seem to be more concerned about their hormones, and there's a lot of conversation and talk and finger pointing at, there's like different stages and times of our life. I mean, even my son a couple of weeks ago, he's like, Mom, just curious, is your period going to start soon? Because you've been kind of mean. And I'm like, what? And then, of course, the next day it started, and I was like, oh my God, that is so funny. And then, of course, as the years go by and things start to change inside the female body, and we're like, whoa, like what is happening here? And there's like a common belief that it's out of our control. There's nothing that we can really do about it. It's going to happen anyway. For some of us, it's really bad. And for some of us, it's not so bad, but it's just like, it just is, these like awful, really intense, related to our cycle and our flow, either of the month or of our lifetime experiences that are just simply not true. If you go back and you do some research on other cultures that do not live the way that we do, they don't have the kind of drama around their monthly cycle or around menopause that we do. It's not this like 10, 15 years of just total chaos and weight gain and sweats and frustration. I mean, definitely things change and you are going to notice it, right? Like my son's like, you have not been very nice today. This is unusual for you. So there definitely is going to be a notice and a difference, but this is the thing. This is the way that I like to think about it. It's like if you're driving in a car, you're driving on the freeway and you're going like 70 miles an hour, and you like, you have a can of soda and you drink it and you throw the can in the back, and then you have a wrapper of whatever, and you throw the wrapper in the back. And as time is going by, you are throwing things in the back and it seems like it's behind you. It seems like it is over there. And then what happens is that, maybe you have to stop for something. Suddenly there's like a crash up ahead, and you slam on your brakes, and it's like all of a sudden, all of this garbage comes like piling on top of you. And you're like, oh my God, this is awful. Like, get all of that garbage back, like speed up, do whatever we need to do to get the garbage back. Like, this is so awful. Well, if two things, one, if we wouldn't just kept throwing things back there, thinking that it's never going to affect us, it's not that big of a deal, out of sight, out of mind, I'll wait until I have to stop to deal with it. That's not a super good method, right? And that's oftentimes what a lot of us have done through our life. It's like, oh yeah, I know I should eat better. Oh, I know that I should go to sleep on time. Oh, I know that I should, incorporate some stress management and some self-care techniques. Oh, I know I should drink more water and less coffee. I know I shouldn't drink wine every night, like blah, blah, blah. And this is all of us just like putting those wrappers and putting those cans and putting all of those things in the back seat. And then life happens, whether it's, we have some kind of an illness or age, or, we get fired from our job, whatever, life happens. We have children, something changes, and it's kind of like slamming on the brakes. And then all of a sudden we feel like it's like overwhelming garbage, just like all over us. We can't see through it and we don't know what to do. And it's like all frustrating. And then other people are like, oh my God, me too. Look at all the garbage. Oh, me too. It's all the garbage. That's just what happens when you stop. No, that's not what happens when you stop. That's what happens if you keep putting things out of sight, out of mind, and not dealing with them. And then you stop, right? So what we want to be doing here is we want to be, because we can't go back, right? We're not going to go back in time and change things and fix things, but we can right now start throwing things actually in the garbage that are garbage. Start actually making stops along the way to rest and to digest and to challenge our own beliefs about like, why were we kept just throwing things back there? It's time to really incorporate self-care, and self-care not being like vacation. So like, I'm going to, do whatever I want to do, eat whatever I want to eat, drink whatever I want to drink, like sleep whenever I want to sleep. I mean, all of those things, like, yeah, that's nice. But like, if you have to recover from your vacation, that's not a vacation for the body. I mean, the body is coming along with you. And if it has to recover from like your enjoyment, that's not a super awesome thing. So how can we begin to change the way that we think so that our current lifestyle is conducive to all things that might happen in the world, whether we have to have an emergency stop, life happening, kids, grandparents, sickness, stuff like that happening. So when it comes to hormones, what's really important about this topic and understanding is that hormones are chemical messengers. They are regulators. They manage almost everything about your experience of life, from your mood, clearly, to your attitude, your perception, your thoughts, and when I say perception, and ladies, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like when my son said, "Mom, is your period going to start soon because you've been kind of mean?" In my mind, I'm like, I'm not mean. I'm just surrounded by a bunch of idiots. Like that was my thinking. I'm like, it's not me, it's you. I mean, I didn't say this, but it seems like, no, you just are not listening. You're not doing things right. And I already told you this. And like, we need to go on time and I don't want to be late. And like my perception changes based on the input that's going into this body and based on the chemical messengers that are doing their job to the best of their ability. So there are 4 things that we really need to remember about our hormones, because we have way more control over this experience than previously thought. Again, our perception, our mood, our attitude, our hunger, our cravings, whether we're like happy or sad, like the depression, the anxiety, the confusion, like all our sleep cycles, or our sexual desire cycles, what we crave in terms of like the foods that we're actually craving, all of that is regulated by our hormones. So if you're having an experience of life that you don't like, right, where it is out of whack, you're either way up here or you're way down there, or your cravings are out of control, your mood is out of control, your perception is out of control, whatever it is, we have to backtrack to like what the cause actually is. And it's like, oh, well, it's hormones. Okay, well, if it's hormones, oh, that's just how it's always been. That's how it always is, in my family, my aunts, my grandma, my mom, like all of us, we just have really bad cycles. Or yeah, it's just menopause. It's that time of life. Like all women go through this. So it's going to be these years of like torturous suffering. Well, I'm calling BS on this. Okay. And there's one experience that I have personally had in my life that I think really shines a light on this. And this actually happened about 30 years ago or more. When my mom was in her 30s, she had a full hysterectomy. She had fibroid tumors in her uterus and also in her breasts. And both of her sisters, sorry, ladies, if you are watching this, but both of her sisters also had that. And so did my grandma. So it was like, that was just what was going to happen. That's what I thought. That's what I was told. That's my experience. That was like, oh, this is just the women in my family. This is how we roll. Like our bodies are just sensitive in that way. We are susceptible in that way. Well, what happened is that after my mom had her hysterectomy, she then around that same time changed her life in terms of her input into the body. She changed her food, she changed what she drank, and she changed she got some support. She got help around her food issues. So what that did was there was actually 4 things that were helped. And there's 4 ways in which we have control over our hormones. Everything that we eat, everything that we drink, everything that we think, and everything that we do creates a hormonal response in the body, either favorable to the balance in your energy or detracting from it. And nobody gets away from this. It doesn't matter if you notice it or not. It doesn't matter if you're just putting that that garbage in the back and going, oh, well, my body can deal with it. I can deal with it. I can deal with it. I can deal with it. And just waiting for life to slam on the brakes for you and it all come piling in your face and then go, I can't deal with it. That can happen too. But what happened is that she cleaned up her food. So what she was eating, drinking, thinking, and doing changed, and the fibroids in her breast went away. Now, I am 43 and I don't have any of those issues and never have, because I have been very intentional about the things that I'm eating and drinking. I learned something new. I learned something different than what life had shown me when my mom made changes. And then of course she shared that information with me. And now I have a new and updated program, an updated file. And this is one of the things how balancing our hormones and hypnotherapy work together really well, because hypnosis, one, it helps reduce the stress, but it helps us think differently. So that new piece of information that I got, and again, this was 30 years ago. And I say that because you go online right now and you Google what are fibroids caused by, the number one thing it says, processed carbohydrates. So like sugar and flour and things that are processed. Well, 30 years ago, nobody knew that. It was like an underground thing. My mom knew it because she told me her personal experience. And I was like, oh, that totally interesting. That makes sense. And then over the course of the years, of the last 30 years, there's been an incredible amount of data, research, information, knowledge that has just sparked our understanding of like, oh yeah, this equals this. Of course it does. But we didn't know that back then. But I had new information. And when we have new information, it allows our understanding of the world to expand. It allows the choices that we have in life to expand. It gives us an opportunity to really take our power back, to really take responsibility, to respond to our own abilities to make changes, to learn from other people's experiences, to learn from other people's mistakes, to learn when we're looking in the car next to us and they slam on their brakes and all of their stuff comes flying in their face, to go, ooh, maybe I don't want that to happen to me. Maybe today is a really good day to get some help, to do something different, to go for a walk, to have water instead of coffee, to be intentional about my food plan, right? To actually plan it ahead of time, not tell myself what did I eat yesterday? Lord knows I don't remember nothing. There is no way I'm going to remember, especially if it was like, oh, this little bit doesn't count. And I'm like intentionally trying to tell my brain not to count it. How the hell am I supposed to remember that the next day? I got way too many things to remember. So being prepared and planning ahead of time is like one of the easiest, most simple ways to really use the way that we think in conjunction with the way that the body works. So it's like our spiritual sense and our physical sense coming together with intention. It makes it so much easier. So let me recap for you, because this is really, really important. Everything that you eat, everything that you drink, it is not benign. It might seem like it. Oh, I'm getting away with it. Oh, I didn't gain weight this week. Oh, whatever the reason and excuse is. But everything we eat, everything we drink, everything we think. So every single thought that crosses your mind, the thoughts that you think when you're looking in the mirror, when you're getting dressed, when you're looking at other people, what they have, what they don't have, what you want, what you have, what you don't have, all of those things, all of that stress. And it's not always stress. Sometimes it's really positive, loving, wonderful things, which is great. But everything we think has a hormonal response in the body. Everything we do. So like if you have a coach or a therapist, or you journal, or you go for walks, it's like physically what we do and where we put ourselves in relationship to other human beings. It matters. And so why this is so important to really understand, and why I think that hypnosis is really at the top, like really kind of like umbrella-ing the rest of them, even though they're probably equal, but to me it's up there, is because the way that I think about things is going to change the decisions that I make with food. It's going to change the decisions that I make with what I drink. It's going to change the decisions that I make with what I do. They did this study where they took a bunch of women who were all house cleaners of like this, I think it was a hotel. And they put him into two separate groups. And they told one of the women, they were like, oh my God, like what you do every single day is amazing. Do you know that you get this many steps in, you burn this many calories? It's this much healthy. Like, it's like you went to the gym, you know, five days a week. That's incredible. So they just use words to explain to the ladies and give them a new perception, a new like frame around an old picture, right? You take like an old picture frame, get rid of the frame, but you want to keep the picture, put a new frame around it. It invigorates it, it lightens it up, it gives life to it. And then they told the other group that they were just going to be part of a study, and you know, they didn't really tell them much about what it was, but they asked them a bunch of questions and whatever. Well, over time, what they found after a couple of months was that the women who were told that what they are already doing, now think about this, they did not actually change anything. They just changed the way that they thought about what they were already doing, lost around 5 to 7 pounds in that couple months, while the control group that wasn't told anything stayed the same. That is freaking awesome. That is so awesome. And that is one of the reasons why having some kind of a coach or a therapist or a counselor or a group to help encourage us and remind us that what we are doing is good, that it is positive, that it is working. Make sure that we really enhance the wins and the successes that we are having, because there's always something to brag about, something to feel good about, and there's always something to work on. And that's okay. It's never going to be different. So if you choose to just focus on the things that are not working, you are also choosing to stimulate the part of the brain and the hormones that are going to bring you down. And when you choose to show up, to participate, to ask questions, go ahead and ask a question in the comments right now, to ask for help, to ask for support, choose to really frame your experience in the way that is uplifting and invigorating and helpful, you are going to get the results that you desire. There is going to be a balancing. You're going to start noticing that you're making better decisions in your food choices. You're making better decisions in how much water that you're drinking. You're making better decisions on the things that you're doing, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, the activities that you participate in. Everything begins to change, and it can happen with just one thought, one idea, one concept that you are enough and you have everything that you need to be successful and happy and free. Hallelujah. All right. I love you so much. Make sure that you like, that you comment, that if you're watching on YouTube, that you subscribe. I would love to hear from you more. I want to answer all of your questions and help and support you. This is something that I've been doing for quite some time now. And I have found that the ladies that are the most successful are actually the ones that ask the most questions. Sometimes it seems like obviously like we get like nervous, right? We're like, oh, I don't want to be the one who's always raising my hand, always asking the questions, always like wanting more and more. Like it sometimes feels like it feels a little uncomfortable to like own your place and your space, right? And to really just like to ask for what it is that you need. We're taught so much to just shush in the corner. But if that is inspiring to you, I'm telling you right now, I want to hear from you. I want to have your questions. Now, whether I can actually answer them or I might need to do some research or send you somewhere else is totally fine. But I just wanted to let you know how proud I am of you. You are here. You are powerful. You are important. You're special. You are needed and wanted. And I love you.